Svetlana, yes, please.
Yes. Okay.
The agenda said that I am a sergeant at arms, right?
Yes, Sergeant at Arms is Asil. Asil, say a few words about our online behavior. Thank you.
Shall I
Asil?
start?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Svetlana, please introduce us because Asil cannot speak for the moment. That is why I asked you.
Julie is our
So,
president.
can you hear
Asil
me?
is our Sergeant at Arms. Yes, just we can hear you. Yes, Asil.
Okay. Welcome to Witty Storytellers Online Club. It is so great to see you. My name is Asil. I am your sergeant at arms for today's meeting. We are an online club specializes in storytelling. Before we start, we would like to invite you to adopt the following club protocols for the benefit of everybody in attendance. You are encouraged to use earphones or headsets while speaking during the session for improved audio experience for the audience. If you are not speaking, kindly mute your microphone. We would like to provide as noise-free an environment as possible for our speakers.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
You can find the microphone button at the bottom left of your screen, which you can click on to mute or unmute yourself. We would like to see you during the session, and we encourage you to have your camera on. If you are not able to do so, that is fine. If you have to take care of personal or professional items during the club session, you are invited to turn your camera off. Your on-screen activity may be distracting to our audience. You can turn on off your camera by clicking on the video button located right next to the microphone button. Furthermore, we would like to inform you that this session is being recorded, and recording may be used for the club's public relations activities. If you wouldn't like to be recorded during the session, kindly turn your video off. You may also chat with individual members or everyone in the meeting. To do so, click on the chat icon at the bottom of your Zoom window to open up chat window. Kindly avoid posting messages in the chat box during a prepared speech. This also can be disturbing. You are encouraged to show your support by sending quick notes or feedback when the speaker has finished. We also have a view gallery on the top right corner of your screen. You can click on it to switch between different views. And please, don't forget to silence your phones. And most importantly, smile and show your active support to your fellow Toastmasters throughout the meeting. I shall now call upon our presiding officer to open the meeting. Please, Julie, welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Welcome to Witty Storytellers Online. We are the first specialty online club, and our specialty is telling personal stories and telling it in good humor, learning together about storytelling and humor every time. Now, today, I will make a business meeting after the regular meeting. For the moment, I would like to put on my Toastmaster of the meeting hat. And I would like to ask Michelle, who has, I think, not a special role for the moment, to be our general evaluator today. And okay?
Yeah, I'm also table topics master, I believe, but that's fine.
Okay. And Asil, can you be a timekeeper? Or Svetlana is ready. Okay. So
I said that.
Svetlana will be our timekeeper. Wonderful. Now, we have 3 speeches today, and instead of Nadia, it will be Magda who will be speaking. We have our 3 evaluators, Svetlana, Scott, and Hermin, present. And we have 3 guests. Welcome, our guests. Svetlana, can you show us how the time will be shown?
Yes. So these are my timing devices. When you fulfill your required minimum time, you will see this beautiful green rose. Then, instead of the amber traffic light, you will see this yellow rose, or rather roses, and you will know that you have to start wrapping up. When you see the red roses, a bunch of red roses, you will know you have to stop. You have only 30 seconds to stop. If you don't do that, then I will stop clapping. That's it.
Thank you. I would also like to ask you, try to unmute yourself, the opposite of Asil told, and look at the view where you see all of us, and we will see if this is an echo, then we will have to mute us again. But if not, it is good to have the reaction on our speech and react as much as possible. Think yourself that you are all the time on the screen when you are in gallery view. So we see each of us. Our first speaker today, it is our newest member who will give us an icebreaker, but he will speak from entertaining speakers number 1, Federico, this mystery of our lives. Federico, it is.
It's 5 to 7 minutes, isn't it, Federico? It's 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes, it's 5 to 7 minutes. When we think about our life, it's full of mysteries because we cannot expect what is going to happen. Think it very carefully in every detail that surrounds us. Most of things are unpredictable, and I can tell you that my life, as the life of many of us, is totally unpredictable. I come from a faraway place called El Salvador. Most of people think, but do you live in an island? Or do you eat bananas where you come from? Or what exactly is there? Nowadays in Malta, I have met a lot of Brazilians and a lot of people from all over the world that when I tell them that I am from El Salvador, they are, but where is that? It's an island in the Caribbean. Well, not exactly. It's a part of Central America, a small country, but many people are unaware, and when other people think, but if it really exists, what's going on there? Some people think in the war of footballs of the 1980s, or many crazy things. And think very carefully in your own life. All these strange places exist too. All those mysteries that surround us. And I can tell you that the life of where I come from is not exactly the easiest one. Since in my case, I started a different transition when I was a small kid. Since my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And imagine what does it mean to grow up in those countries that are called developing countries, and to discover that when you are only 9 years old. This puts you to other things in your life, to try to discover what's happening, to go beyond your boundaries and try to uncover more mysteries that surround us. I would like that you could think in you, in your personal life. How often do you take care about those small things that we tend to forget? We hardly ever take care of those small details that try to help us to become better. We tend to forget the people that surround us and to be grateful with the people that really take care of us. I invite you to think in those small details, continue into the strange journey where I come from. Many people, when they discover where I come from, they think, but do you climb trees to collect some bananas from the tree, from the palms? And let me tell you, that's a very bad idea, because if you try to climb one of those banana palms, you will smash in the floor very badly. So don't try it. It's not what you see in the TV, that the monkeys can climb and collect the bananas. That doesn't work. Also, where I come from is a place where you have beautiful beaches. People tend to think that they are only in Mexico, but some of the World Cups of surfing are in my country. So people go there, they surf, and they discover those things. Such small mysteries that we tend to forget very often. Then we can continue, because many mysteries that surround us are things that we don't take care of. Going to the country where I come from, that is in Central America, is a different mystery. As I said, because people tend to believe that either we have an island, but we have almost nothing there. If you go to those places, I invite you to think, what do you expect from those small countries? What do you expect from Central America? Most of people, they don't think that there are many things. We only think in the violence, that they're extremely dangerous. And let me tell you, it's not exactly true. I met someone from the Lebanon here who traveled alone to my country, and she's a woman, in fact, went there and discovered how the culture is different, how people enjoy the life in our countries, how people enjoy seeing those small details that we see as Central Americans, that you can go speak with your neighbors, speak with the people, go during Christmas and enjoy even a glass of water with your neighbors. Many people are surprised, especially Europeans, why we do those things? Why we go during Christmas to speak with all our neighbors, and some of them, we don't know them. Every place that we live, we have those small details that make us beautiful countries, but we forget them. And that's why our life tends to be a mystery. But if you want to go beyond those small mysteries, you need to go to different places. In my country, in my case, I have visited 18 countries. And from each country, I have seen beautiful things. When I came to Malta, I discovered that Malta is a mix of many countries. It resembles some parts of my country, El Salvador, of how the culture of people is. At the same time, I have seen that it looks like Israel, of how the buildings look like. And additionally, I have been able to discover that in this small place, there are more mysteries that I need to discover. But many times, to discover those small details, those small mysteries, you need to go beyond your comfort zone. And I invite you to try to discover those mysteries and be one who is the person who will be able to do those changes. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.
Julie,
Julie,
need to
you'll
unmute.
need to unmute. Snap.
Our last second speaker will be evaluated by Hermin, And her speech is from Strategic Relationship, the very last speech, called Reflect on Your Path. But in plus she has also a beautiful title. And her title is Oral History with Digital Storytelling. Carol?
Thank you, Julie. It's 10 to 12 for the timer. And could you please give me an audible sound at 10, 11, and 12? Sorry. Yeah, 10, 11, and 12. Thank you. Madam Toastmaster and storytellers, what do you know about digital storytelling? What's come into your mind when I've asked that question? I bet you've got something that you think it is, and I'm going to reveal a little more about what it really is today. And why am I doing that? Because I am reflecting on my path, and my path, of course, is in the Pathways Education Program for Toastmasters. And I've now almost completed 2 parts. And this is not a traditional reflect on your path speech. I wanted to make it different. I wanted it to be more real and to show you what this path and other paths have done for me. As you know, when you're working through projects in the New Pathways scheme, there's more to it than just giving a speech. You're learning something along the way, and you're building in new leadership skills. And you're learning more and more about yourself while you do it. Now, as I've been completing my paths, I've learned a great deal about what I want to do and what I want to be when I grow up. So I think I would like to make sure that the learning that I've achieved from my paths is put to good use. So here's where it comes into the oral history with digital storytelling. I'm going to share my screen with you now. So I will do that. And I do hope that you can now see my slides. Just give me a nod if they're appearing for you, Michelle. Yes, thank you, Svetlana. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. So what I want to do today is talk about my vision, which has come about because of what I've been doing in my paths. I want to talk about oral history through digital storytelling. All of us are storytellers, and we've all got something to say. And what I want to be able to say is information about my ancestors and tell the story about these people in my past. I'm getting some feedback, sorry. I want to be able to preserve my digital story for my granddaughters. Usually there's a bit of a disconnect with technology. I want to reconnect with technology. So I'm building all my skills that I've learned from my paths to build a way of teaching people how to create digital stories. Stories for your archives, for your family. Stories where you can take those memories from the boxes of photos in the cupboard and turn them into oral history, which makes so much more impact for the listener. You can create your digital story from all of the memorabilia that you would have if you're a genealogist like me and you've collected these old documents and old photos from wherever they lie on the internet or under the bed. And you can tell stories. You can make sense of your family history for the generations to come so that they understand what they're part of. There's more to our lives than just these pieces, of course. And it's the art of the narrator of the digital story that will engage the listener with the heart. There are so many pieces of our lives that we need to record for posterity. And I understand now a little more about how important it is to have strategic relationships, even with those who are no longer with us. Yes, sometimes when I do a bit of research on my ancestors, I embellish a little bit and I imagine what they might have been like, because unfortunately I haven't been there in the 18 and 1900s to record their voice. But I know that people across the world want to do this. They want to create stories that are meaningful. There are ways in which you can learn about it. One of my courses that I'm doing right now is the oral history module, is family history diploma from the University of Tasmania. Now, Toastmasters, here's a little tip. We could do this digital storytelling briefly in Toastmasters meetings, just like table topics. And you could create your own oral history. You could talk about one character or several from the past, and you could learn the art online. Because my vision, here comes the crunch. Now that I know all about this path that I've been on, I want to create an e-course. That is a digital course to learn about digital storytelling. So I've made a start. I've actually structured what I want to do in a piece of software called Thinkific. And next year I've carved out some time in order to fulfill my mission. I want to be able to teach people how to tell their story. So what's your story? What is it that you want to leave for your children? What is it that you have in your memory, in your photographs, hidden away in the background that you want to bring out and create a digital story? The art of a digital storytelling technician or narrator is to put all of those pieces together, to grab the voice, so you can record that in whatever means you like, make digital images, get some free music. And I learned recently you can get free music from YouTube Audio Library, and there's no copyright on that. Music just adds a little bit of interest for that story. When you put all these pieces together, you're then thinking, well, what do I do with them, Carol? Where am I going to put them? You use simple software to do that. Our old friend PowerPoint comes into play. PowerPoint is so powerful. You can put your images in, import your audio, your recording, or record directly into it. And then at the end, save it as a story. And you save it as an MP4. That is really, really simple. And I know, hands up those who love PowerPoint. I mean, I can't live without it. And I realise that it is the lowest common denominator for some people, rather than having to learn fancy software like Movavi, Editor, or all of those wonderful photoshopping tools. Let's stick with something simple. So what I've learned throughout my path is how important it is to make things simple. So my vision for creating this e-course for digital storytelling will use simple tools. It'll use simple instructions, and it will help people create their stories. Now, I've had some practice already in the flesh, as we say, by teaching groups of people the art of digital storytelling in workshops. There's always something that goes wrong. You know what it's like when there's technology involved. Today, I had my first workshop with this group, and of course, things went wrong. I made the fatal assumption that all the technology would work well. Well, it doesn't. Not all computers, not all laptops work in the same way. Everyone's done something different to the way they set things up. And not everyone is as comfortable with software as I am. So I learned 2 very valuable things today, and I want to make sure that that gets into my course so that I simplify it again. So throughout my path, I've learned something about me. I've learned how important it is to communicate in plain English. Sometimes I know exactly what's going on in my head, but when it tries to come out of my mouth, bleh, it doesn't make any sense. So I now need to fine-tune the way I communicate, and I'm happiest in my instructional design mode. So I hope that I can fulfill this mission next year. Now, unfortunately, that's going to mean that whilst I'm doing all that, I have to drop some things. So I won't be doing any roles in any club for the next season. I know that's a bit of a shock. Oh, shock, horror. No, I have to carve out some time. And that's the other thing that I've learned in doing these pathways, that you have to make sure that everything fits in your time scale and that you can do it to suit you. You know that little assessment thing in the last project of every path? You have to say, yes, I understand now how I put this in place for my life or my work. Well, I can tell you that I can now happily tick that box because I understand completely how this path has helped me in my life. So wish me luck, because next year I'm going to be on my mission, creating a digital storytelling e-course. Will you join me? Back to you, Toastmaster Julie.
I am Toastmaster today, so I decided we will have 4 storytellers today instead of 3. The next storyteller is Magda with Turkish Delights, a beautiful title, and she is speaking from the level 2 about leadership, but with a delightful title. And her evaluator is Hermin. And after her speech, Nadia, who finally arrived with her plane, who must have landed somewhere, will give us her own story. Magda,
How long is this?
Turkish Delights, up to you.
Good. Just a moment, Svetlana. It's 5 to 7 minutes, and my evaluator is Scott. Good. Are you ready? Turkish Delight. I'm feeling in a very festive mood, as you can see. And Turkish Delight is my favorite. Come on, don't be shy. Hands up if you like Turkish Delight. Come on, come on, come on. Ooh, hands up if you hate it with a passion. Can't see any hands. Oh, Svetlana, you don't like Turkish Delight. I've got a surprise for you today. I'm going to talk about leadership, but I'm going to use the analogy of Turkish Delight. Dear friends, leadership. A lot has been said so far in pathways and in leadership talks. And I'm trying to explain to people that pathways are sort of layers. You get certain layers in level 1 and level 2, and then you improve on those layers, especially in levels 3, 4, and 5. But now we're getting to the pitfalls. The pitfalls in making Turkish Delight is that there's something called saponaria. It is called soapwort. And in commercial making of Turkish Delight, they add this to the mix. And I feel no soapwort in our Turkish Delight. Because in pathways, you can't mix all kinds of things. If you get into a crazy mix, that is soap water, it's making a foam, that's the leaves and stuff. If you do this, you're not going to get Turkish Delight. You'll get something else. This is made liquid from the roots of soapwort, and then they add some syrup to it. And this is according to the website of the Taste of Beirut, and it's a meringue-like thing, but it's definitely not pathways. It's not Turkish Delight. You can't mix legacy and pathways. It's not good, giving a good end product. It might be sweet. You can think, aha, I've got it going here. Might be sweet in your mouth, but it's really not what you want. It's very simple. Legacy is manual plus your speaker. Oh, okay. And in pathways, it is the computer work plus your speeches. To sum up, all in all, the pitfalls are just a minor thing. Pathways guide, helping people. It's all about the love that you've got for your subject. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Stop share. Where did my time go?
Thank you, Magda. I stopped your screen because the time was all blank. And when it is recording, we would have a big white screen and a small Magda near. And that is not what you wanted. So we wanted to see you bigger. And now we will have our last storyteller, Nadia. And please, Nadia, introduce your own speech. Do not tell us what it's not about, but what it is about.
Okay, was this supposed to be part of the
one moment.
Okay.
Can you tell me someone how I can stop here? How I can stop spotlighting? I spotlighted.
You need to click on gallery view. You need to keep your gallery view on. That's it.
Gallery view. And then I stop writing. Thank you, Svetlana. So, yes, now I listen to Nadia. Nadia?
Nadia, is it 5 to 7 minutes? I think Nadia is experiencing some connection issues.
Nadia, are you here? Or if not, you will speak next time.
I think she's dropped. I just see a black screen. On gallery view, you just see a black screen.
And in speaker view, Nadia, it is not better.
No, she's not able to hear you, Julie. I suspect that she will drop out completely.
Okay, so then we begin our evaluations.
I thought we will have table topics first.
We can do our table topics first, yes. Michelle Albalim will do a special, very special on topic, today's topic.
Yes, thank you very much. As you could see, I was all set and I was raring to have the table topics. That's why I jumped in when Julie said we will now start the evaluations. Our theme for this week, very creatively thought of by our Vice President for Education is so relevant to our club. The theme is stories behind photos. And so if you have taken a look at our flyer for this meeting, I found some pictures or photos from history. These are all what people would call iconic photos, photos that have some significance for many people. So our table topics will be, I will show a picture or a photo, and the person I call will tell a story about that picture. It may be the real historical story, if you happen to be familiar with that picture, but we are storytellers and we are Toastmasters. If this is the first time that you're seeing the picture, or even if you have seen it before, you have absolutely no idea what's the history or the story behind the picture, or you know the story but you don't like it and you just want to tell your own story. Maybe it may be a sad picture, but you want to have a humorous twist to it. Whatever you want, we are Toastmasters and we will do it. So the first picture, I will now share my screen. The first picture I would like to show is this picture. And let me call on, almost everybody has a role, but let me see, who shall I call? Well, for this one, just because I want to hear her answer, let me call on our Toastmaster, Julie. Please unmute yourself, Julie.
Can you close your screen, please? We have all seen Marilyn Monroe.
Okay, wait.
And please just close.
Okay, it's closed. It's closed, madam. It is closed. It is closed.
So, what I remember is she was a poor woman, very unhappy, and she still seduced, it seems, the President of United States. Also, Yves Montaigne, who was unfaithful to his wife of a lifetime companion. And at the end, she was so unhappy, the poor woman. For me, it makes me remember my husband, who was unfaithful to me. And it is not a laughing matter, I have to tell you. But it was the most unhappy thing of my life. And when I begin my comedy career, I wanted to tell something funny about what was unhappy for me. And I found these two paragraphs. Women, do you want to know how you can know when your husband is no more faithful to you? Yes? When he goes out of in the evening, freshly shaved, and leaves you home unsatisfied. Then he is no more faithful. Men, do you want to know when to begin to suspect your loved ones? Or your companion, who's supposed to be only loving you? Yes? When she is no more angry you being unfaithful to you. And that's what happened to me in my life. Indeed. And because we don't pray, my husband didn't find it out for a whole year. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Julie. Wow. I think you will all agree that it was a great choice for me to call on our master storyteller. I am still cracking up. I'm so glad that I was muted. Otherwise, I would have disrupted the entire talk. Okay, so let me go to the second picture. Again, this is iconic. And again, I will only show it for a few seconds. You have all seen it already, correct? So I will now take off the picture. Everybody has seen it. And let me see who I will call. Oh, Nadia is back. Oh, where? There you are, Nadia. Can you speak now? Can you talk? Oh, you might not have been here when I started the table topic. So these are iconic pictures. You can either tell the story, historical story, if you know it, or you can tell whatever you think about it, or you can just spin it and make it a funny story. So take it away for that second picture that I showed, which is obviously the Mona Lisa.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The Mona Lisa came about because she was a woman who, in the 1700s, she was a maiden lady. She did not have a husband, and she had a lot of cats. And she was very upset, so that she would be mean to the neighborhood children. And she kind of became this iconic figure in the neighborhood because she would just sit on her porch and yell at children. Sometimes she would hide in the bushes, and when they went by her yard, if she felt they were too close, she would like hit them with a broomstick and things like that. And people just always knew who she was. Her face was etched in everyone's mind. And she caused a lot of trauma for a famous painter. And when he grew up and he started painting, he had a lot of trauma still left over from all the abuse he suffered at the hands of this mean lady with the cats. So his therapist said, to help get past all your issues, you should express your anger and your feelings in a portrait. And he painted what is now known as the Mona Lisa, which was his remembrance of the mean cat lady who abused him all the time when he was going to school. Madam Table Topics Master.
Oh my gosh, we are so good. I am so enjoying this. Awesome. So now our third picture will be, oh boy, let me go to the third picture. Okay, now this is an iconic, but I won't give an introduction to it. But whoever I call, it is up to you to tell if you know the history behind this picture, or just to spin it any way you want. So let me hear from Zaldi.
Please unmute, Zaldi.
Zaldi, please unmute yourself.
I saw that picture way back when I was a kid. Yes, in the absence of cable TV, we had its written equivalent, which is Newsweek. At that moment, I did not know what was happening in the picture, but it was recently featured somewhere. I saw in a post in Facebook. The child had her clothes burning, so she had to take it off and run. And with all the rest of the kids, they were all crying. And the lady eventually was able to settle in America, and she is still alive today. And she also has children. Maybe I would look it up in the internet to look further to refresh my memory on what really happened. I think it was the napalm bombing done by the Americans that caused them to run away. Because I don't think the Vietnamese had air power to do that. So the Vietnamese were just doing guerrilla tactics and not using any air power. So that's what I remember. The when I was a child, I saw it, and the week it happened because we had a subscription to Newsweek, and I just knew the real story maybe a few months ago. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zaldi. Yes, that some people attribute that photograph to the turn of sentiment against the war in Vietnam. You're right. That was just so horrendous and horrific. Thank you so much. We have, looking at the time, I believe we have time for one more at least, maybe even two, I hope. But because we have some guests, I would like to give them an opportunity as well. So let me call on Nikhil. And this is going to be interesting because Nikhil is so young. I suspect that you may not even know the history of this, so that you will just have to respond to this picture based on your gut feel. So Nikhil, take it away.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters. Hi, everyone. After a long time, I came to the meeting, and since I was picked up by you, so I have to tell my story. So this picture reminds me a girl from my college who used to scare me a lot. Like, I don't know her eyes. Whenever I used to study, she used to stare me. And I felt like she's going to kill me or something, or she's going to do something with me. I was afraid. So I decided to move out from the place and shift to another place. But that doesn't stop me at all. She used to continuously stare at me, follow me wherever I go. I don't know what she wants. I was very scared. I was uncomfortable. I was feeling insecure. I don't know what to do. So I consulted my friend about this girl, and I told him everything, that she's following me. She's just looking at me. I don't know what she wants. Please help me do. Should me? He told me, relax. Just calm down. Nothing worry about it. If you want, I'll talk to him. We'll make sure that whatever she wants, we'll directly ask him. No need to stay away from him. We went there, and the girl didn't came that day only. And we were like, okay, fine. On the next day, she came. But my friend didn't came. And I just don't know what happened. She still saw at me, and she's still staring at me. And I was like feeling very embarrassing. Like, why she's staring at me? Like, why she's not staring at other boys also? Like, they were smart than me. They were like handsome than me. And still they were staring at me. So I finally just went to her and asked her that, hey, why are you staring at me? Do you want anything? She told me, no, actually my eyes is paining a lot. So my doctor told me to just look at particular image, and I was like, oh God, what is that? So yeah, that was my story. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Wow. I am totally blown away. I mean, I'm glad this is not a table topics contest, because the judges will go crazy. All the contestants or all the speakers are really good. And now we have a few more guests, so I would like to call on them. I think we have two remaining guests, or three, and let us now have this very iconic photograph. And again, you can answer based on whatever the history is, or just talk about it from your own perspective. Let us hear from Ismail. Could you unmute yourself, please?
Oh, me? You mean me?
Yes.
Yes, Ismail, you.
Oh, okay. Yes. That photograph is of Egypt, old Egypt, I think. And this is the what do you call it? I cannot remember it, but it is Sphinx, the Sphinx, as it, and Sphinx. So the Sphinx is an old, was it an animal or something like that? It's like a lion, lying lion, yes. And it's what what it uh, is just lying down there, and everybody in the world has seen that photograph. I'm just saying that, but because I have seen it. So, and what is it? Is what she's famous for is to tell us the age of the Egyptian civilization, and I think maybe it's more than 5,000 years old. And I really do not know much. I just know this called Sphinx, and what it is to the religious. Is it Sphinx must be before pharaohs, or is it during the pharaohs? So that's about it that I remember, and I cannot add any more. Thank you very, very much, Michelle, for calling on me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ismail. And no problem if you don't remember, because we are storytellers and we can always spin our own story. And now I would like to call on our other guest. And this one is another photograph of a structure that goes back thousands of years, but you don't have to tell us the history of it if you don't know what it is. Just tell us a story. Let's welcome, is it Animish? Animish. Let's welcome Animish. Please unmute yourself.
Wall of China, I guess. So, what I remember though is this very film I saw called Chinese Talk to China. But uh, other than that, I don't really see what it is. But what it really is, I guess it's the Great Wall of China. But really, what it looks like is an elevated path. What it looks like is something of a road that stands out. You see, if you look at that picture very carefully, it looks like a road that stands out. That it's like it's telling us, hey, if you're not finding anything else, just walk through this road. You see, that's how it is. Perspective is all that matters. I think I'm. I think if I'm not wrong, that actually is a full road with all stairs and all that. That's how it is in the Great Wall of China. I have never visited the Great Wall of China though, and I think that's pretty much it. Although I think this could be a pretty great. I think this could be a perspective though. It is, if you look at it from above, it's a road that stands out. It's like God has given you a road, right? Thank you very much. I think that's all my time is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Amazing. All our 7 table topic speakers have given us amazing stories ranging from humorous to historical and just their opinions on the various photos. I wish we could go on. However, my time is up, and I would now like to welcome back our Toastmaster, the master storyteller herself. Let's welcome Julie back.
I still didn't.
Welcome back. And now we will begin the evaluation part of our meeting. Our first speaker will be evaluated
I'm the evaluator.
by Svetlana.
Yes.
Svetlana,
Fellow Toastmasters, I'm evaluating Federico Navarrete's speech, The Mystery of Our Lives V2, and it's the entertaining speaker number 1 project. He was supposed to entertain the audience by relating a personal experience and trying to get a maximum impact with his speech. It happened to be his icebreaker for our club as well. So on the one hand, it was a very emotional story. And the main thing that I immediately noticed when Federico started his story was how he switched us off from the Toastmasters meeting and established his own atmosphere. And that atmosphere was established by his very comfortable and intimate kind of narration. It was a conversational style, if you agree with me. It was about discovering mysteries of our lives, and the mysteries could be discovered through the details, special details that would represent personal experience. We sometimes call such details poetic details, like details which tell a lot. He started the story from his childhood, where country where he was born, El Salvador, and brought us to Malta, where he is now. He visited 18 countries. And about all of these countries, he could not only tell a few things through details, but he also showed us how one can see a new country and discover a combination of glimpses of other countries in it. Like, for example, in Malta, he sees glimpses, he sees parts of Israel. What this story was, what this speech was about mostly is the power of observation, the power of noticing tiny little details. And he managed also to bring the stigma of coming from a banana picking country and how actually it could be a key to understanding the lifestyle and culture and economy of that country. Thank you, Federico, for this beautiful narration and for this conversation as well. I thought you could raise your camera a bit and look into the camera, because at times it felt like you were reading, although I know you couldn't be reading. So at times it sounded like interpretive reading to me. But thank you for this wonderful story.
Our second evaluator, evaluating Carol story, is Scott. No? Herman?
It's Herman.
Herman.
Hello, do I come loud and clear?
Yes.
All right, great. At the outset, I would like to congratulate and thank Carol for that wonderful presentation. Let's give her a round of applause, please. Thank you very much. I would say that this presentation, Carol, is what I would call Carol 2.0, bringing us from paths to bridges. Carol shared to us how going through the Pathways projects taught her many things and how important it is for her to put these learnings into good use. That summarizes my evaluation. And how did she do this? I will use four letters from the word code, CODE, content, organization, delivery, and effect, to deliver my evaluation of Carol's presentation. Let's start with C, content. I am so happy because the theme for today is stories behind pictures. And I felt that her presentation is not just a reflection, but also, as she said, this is beyond reflection. She was very thematic. That's number one. Number two, she was very relevant. She made use of a topic that is very relevant to everyone because everybody has a family, everybody has a genealogy, family genealogy, preserving moments, or even banal events in our lives, strategic relationships with loved ones, and also part of her content was digital resources to tell stories like digital pictures, think, Thinkific, MP4, YouTube, PowerPoint, and so on. Let me move on to her organization. I loved how you started it, Carol. You started with a question that drew me in and made me think, what do I know about digital storytelling? And that made me interested and stayed on to listen, not just because I'm your evaluator. And then in the middle of your presentation, you had another question and an important one. You said, what is your story? Which was a transition to a next part of your speech. And then finally, you ended it with another question, which is, will you join me? I like the use of questions. You started with a vision and you shared with us and made me anticipate what your vision is and how you're going to use your learnings and lessons from pathways. I stayed with you in your presentation for me to know what that vision is. And then you also shared to us your learnings as part of your reflection, a tip on how to use your topic into four TM meetings, and then you shared to us two major lessons you have learned from your experiences. Let me go to the third letter, which is D, delivery. I love the fact that you made use the screen using PowerPoint and sharing that to us. I love how you used great images with few words, and then the transition from image to image was also smooth. Your voice was clear, it was soothing, it was easy to hear, and also you were very engaging. Finally, I go to letter E, which is the effect. I want to use this in my lessons, in my classes, digital storytelling. That is primarily the effect of your presentation to me. How I would be able to ask my students to use pictures, digital pictures, to tell their stories and then record it. Thank you so much and congratulations on all your learnings and lessons and your application of this in your future course. I'd like to be a part of it. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. The next evaluator, this time, I think it is Liz Scott.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I had the pleasure of evaluating Magda. And before we even got started, the topic was enough for people to wonder Turkish delight. And I was started to wonder Turkish delight as soon as the screen came up, that the drop back behind her, I was thinking that could easily be Turkish delight, all moulded in. So, and the start was even better because Magda used the very good skill of involving the audience. She had people answering questions, and all of a sudden we were very much involved into the story. So congratulations to you, Magda. It was a very powerful story, and I really enjoyed it. And it was a very clever presentation because she moulded in leadership style, which what the project was about, and also it was about pathways, about Turkish and Turkish delight and baking. So it was a very clever way of presenting leadership style into promoting Toastmasters and also the legacy and pathways. Very clever indeed. You had I really liked your hand contact because gestures, because they're up here, so we could you could actually see them, and you were dressed to hilt. You had the lei going around there, and it was well structured. You had good eye contact, and the content was really good. So you had a very good structure. You had a good introduction. You had great content. But comes my point for improvement. There was, while the slideshow was really good because it was just mainly images, which is great, but there was times where there was too much of just a blank screen of white, which I think distracted from your presentation. So I would just take that on board. And also, I think a thing that distracted also is that you ran out of time, and because of that, the conclusion was very rushed, and it didn't finish the way you would have liked it to finish. So I would suggest that possibly you have your own timer sitting on the side where you can just gaze down, because it is so easy when you're on an online presentation to lose track of where the timer is, especially when you're in the presence, you're in the moment of giving your presentation. So maybe just have something beside you so you can just have a look around and go, oh, shivers, I'm up to 6 minutes. I need to start wrapping things up. But I really enjoyed the presentation because it showed what a great speaker you are, that you're able to put everything together, mold it all in to a great story about leadership styles, about Turkish delights, about baking, about pathways, about your pathways experience. So I found it very, very engaging, very well structured, good eye contact, gestures, just taking into account those two areas that I've mentioned, the white screen, and also just keep an eye on the time, because you want to really finish off, because we remember what you said last and we want to take that away with us. But overall, great presentation, and I wish all the best, and I look forward to hearing your next speech, Madam Toastmaster.
I am a little bit confused now. Who will be our general evaluator, Michelle or Magda? Michelle. Then I would like to ask you to evaluate also very shortly the table topics answers.
Don't we have a third speaker yet? Are we done with all three?
Fourth speaker.
Okay, we're all done.
Nadia.
Okay.
Nadia, would you like to
No,
do the voice speech?
I guess she didn't do, no, I'm sorry. I guess she didn't do, we were doing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so are you calling on me now, Madam Toastmaster? Okay, looks like she is. But we have still reports on grammarian. We don't have a grammarian, no other reports, chat monitor. Okay, so general evaluation. And first, I would like to comment on our speakers, all our speakers. They were all really amazing. And what I was so impressed with is all three speakers stayed on theme. They all had something to do with pictures. Well, especially Carol's was really a strong view on pictures. But even Federico, for example, he was telling us about mind pictures, how we have these perceptions. And of course, Magda had all pictures. In fact, as Scott commented, maybe sometimes a few too many pictures. I loved how our evaluators all gave specific commendations and did what good evaluators should do. They also gave suggestions. Excellent. On our time management, I will borrow from what Scott said, wherein we need to generally just keep track of ourselves as well, because in an online environment, it is very difficult to see where the timer is. However, I would like to commend our timer. I love the roses. I almost wanted to have everybody reach the maximum time just so we could see the red. It was so beautiful. Great job on finding those graphics, Svetlana. Great job on that. And I also loved how Svetlana was very disciplined. No matter how wonderful the speeches were, when it got to the top of the hour plus the extension, she started to clap. I love that. Great job. That's what a timer should be, because as Toastmasters, we need to show discipline on how we manage our time. Which brings me to a comment on those who, I know we all have so much to share, but we all need to remember that oftentimes, less is more. So when we see the yellow, that doesn't mean go on talking on and on. We need to start cutting back. And of course, we don't have to break like crazy when we see the red, but we really need to wrap up very quickly. Unless we just like to hear the applause, then we will wait for the extension time. On our table topics, it is hard for me to comment on the table topics master because that is my alter ego. But nonetheless, I hope you will all agree that those photos all were great food for thought and was so in keeping with the theme. I do want to comment on our table topics responses. I cannot believe that these were all impromptu responses. Some of them were mini stories and they were amazing. And of course, we all know the Marilyn Monroe response from our master storyteller was perhaps set the bar. Suggestions for those who kind of fumbled with their responses. Remember, table topics is not that you give a correct answer. In fact, there's no correct answer with table topics. So it is speaking on your feet, or in this case, on your screen. So don't worry if you don't know anything about the picture. Just say whatever you have thought about. And I would like to commend Nikhil. He obviously did not know the Afghan girl. That was an iconic picture of National Geographic years ago. That's why I called on him, because I knew he probably had never seen that. But wasn't that an amazing story when he talked about the girl who kept on staring on him? That was a mini story in itself. So that's an example of just speaking on your feet and going with whatever your gut leads you to. Let me see, have I covered? Oh yes, our Toastmaster. Now, as always, Julie is wonderful in whatever role you take, Julie. I would have a suggestion, or a couple of suggestions though. For somebody who is so experienced with online, I felt you were a little bit off on your management of Zoom or of certain things. And I felt that because the Toastmaster is supposed to be the duck, you know, like the duck, like you're paddling so desperately under the water, but externally everything should look smooth. I felt that you're stopping to ask questions about how do I do this, how do I do this. It kind of took a little bit away. So I would suggest in the future, if you have questions, just message maybe whoever your experts might be, rather than saying it out. Overall, though, we had a great meeting, I would say, and I'm watching my time, and I am 4:49, and I want to stop at 5. I see the roses, so let's give it back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask now our guest to tell a few words, what they think about our meeting. Ismail?
Julie, thank you very much. I just saw the email from Svetlana, so I came in, not expecting Michelle to call on me to speak about the Sphinx. So you saw me in trouble, and I must get used to your club's theme. That is telling a story. I have plenty of stories because I think I'm older than you. So that's why I have plenty of stories. So next time I look forward to coming back to your club, and I will have a story or two to tell you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ismail. I would like to remember all of you that our club is not only about storytelling, but personal storytelling. So I would have expected even the images to be personal, and anyway, we to tell personal stories about ourselves when we look to a picture, because that is what we try to learn here in this club. and more personal, more penetrating, and longer it will last. Nikhil, would you like to tell something to us?
Oh, it's me. I love the meeting. It was fun. I really enjoyed the table topics. And yeah, I'm looking forward to attend more meetings,
Thank you very much. I think the other guests are no more here with us. So if any one of you would like to tell a few words about our meeting today, very shortly, just raise your hand, real hand. Carol?
Thank you, Julie. I want to say thank you so much to Herman for an outstanding recommendations or commendations for me today. And I know that he's going to put recommendations in his printed assessment and send it on to me. Thank you so much. And I have to tell you, Scott and Nadia, if there's any more of this, you'll have to do your punch up outside, okay?
And Carol, there is only one small observation I have to tell you. I don't know exactly who, I think Chekhov told that a story, everything has to be for the story. So if you have a pistol on the wall, you have at the end the pistol to play a role.
Exactly, that's about the timer.
Carol has a shirt behind her, and I do not remember she told us what does it mean.
Ah, thank you so much. I wondered if you would know this, because that is a t-shirt that I acquired at the very first digital storytelling convention in Wales in 2003. And on it, it just says, "What's your story?"
Thank you very much.
And if you have a timer, the timer should speak.
Wants to speak? Svetlana, would you like to make forward planning?
I was trying to tune in with what you said about Chekhov, or rather Chekhov's quotation. If you have a pistol on the wall in the beginning of the play, by the end of the play, it should shoot. And I thought it was a good reference to the timer, because if in the beginning you have a timer, I think at the end of the meeting, the timer should give a timer report. So if you don't mind, I'll do a timer's report. Federico, our first speaker, spoke for 6 minutes and 11 seconds about mysteries of our lives. Then we had Carol, who spoke for 10 minutes and 49 seconds about digital storytelling. Herman, our third speaker, spoke for 7 minutes and 56. No, I think I've confused something. Magda spoke for 7 minutes and 56 seconds, and she spoke about Turkish delight for leadership. After that, we had table topics, and table topic speakers starting with Julie, who spoke about Marilyn Monroe for 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Nadia spoke about Mona Lisa for 1 minute and 42 seconds. Zaldi spoke about the picture of a Vietnamese girl running away from the napalm bomb for 2 minutes, 0 seconds. Nikhil made up a beautiful story on the theme of the Afghan girl's photo for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Then we had our evaluators. I spoke for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Herman spoke for 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Scott, 3 minutes, 21 seconds. Michelle, our general evaluator, spoke for 4 minutes and 54 seconds. And I was happy to be able to show all the roses, and indeed, some people, as you can see, wished to see the red roses. Thank you. Now, concerning the forward planning, our next meeting is on 8th of November, and I will share my screen with you for a short while to show you how we are doing as of today. As of today, we have 2 speakers only, though the third slot is vacant still. You can sign up right now. We also need general evaluator, 3 evaluators. Greeter, video monitor, or sergeant at arms role is vacant as well. Luckily, we have Table Topics Master already signed up. We need timer, and we still need Toastmaster. The theme of the day will be travel stories. So lots and lots of freedom for, for your creativity. And I would also appreciate it if we sign up somebody as a Toastmaster. They should begin preparing for the meeting in advance, sending the role players Toastmaster questions, collecting some information for interesting introductions. That would also helps to hold the meeting together and actually helps us fill the research the meeting theme through the presentations and through the Toastmaster introductions as well, not only table topics.